Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Pia Maffei. I am owner of Artisan's Patlet and also owner of the online blog site called I Am a Clean Eater. I am thrilled today. My guest is Sharon Walters Mayberry. She's a dear friend of mine. I have known Sharon for at least 18 years, right? But I don't have her today on my show as my gal pal. I have her today because we're going to be talking about something very serious. So let's get started. The topic today is parasites. Now, it's not the most pleasant topic to talk about, but somebody's got to do it. And we're happy to be the two gals that are going to tell you how it's done or what it's about. Now, let's make it clear though. I'm not an expert in parasites, and Sharon's not an expert in parasites, okay? But we do know that there are a lot of people that have parasites, us probably included, right?
Right, most people do.
Most people do. So we're not naive to think, oh, everybody, this is a problem for you and not a problem for us, right?
Right.
So I first want Sharon to talk a little bit about herself and about her education and why she's here, and then we're going to get into the actual components of what she has, and we're going to start teaching you about what's involved if you're interested in doing a parasite cleanse. If you have questions and you're listening, I want you to ask them. Just type the questions because this is live, and we'll look through the questions and then we'll be able to answer the questions as we continue our conversation. So Sharon, let's start with just your education. What have you done in the past few years that led you up to creating this kit?
Okay, sure. So I'm a certified clinical aromatherapist, so that means I have lots of training. I haven't added it all up, but probably about 800 hours of formal training through various institutes. Aromahead Institute, where I studied under Andrea Bouget, who most people in the field are well acquainted with her.
Right.
I got my original certification with her, and then I did my advanced practitioner certification with her. I've taken 2 master's classes with Robert Tisserand at the Robert Tisserand Institute. I've taken classes at Still Point Aromatics in Sedona as well.
So so lots of education. How long did all of this take from start to finish and where you are? Or is there a finish?
There's never a finish.
Okay,
I just finished another class last week with the Tisserand Institute. So whenever I sign up for a class, I kind of think, will I really learn anything more in this class? Not that I know everything, but there's only so much you can learn in a classroom setting, but I always do. I always learn a lot. So there's always something else to learn. So I never stop my education.
Now, this is a different type of education than what you would have, let's say, in Young Living or a doTERRA style education with essential oils. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's very accurate. So that's more of a sales type of thing, and most of those sales reps do have a more limited education, I guess it would be fair to say. So they're not certified.
This is at a different level.
It's at a different level.
Okay.
So they don't have the opportunity to join the holistic groups and the national aromatherapy groups and things like that. So it is a different level.
And then let's just be a little bit more basic too, and basically understand, what is aromatherapy?
So aromatherapy is using essential oils or different carrier oils, and carrier oils are things like jojoba, beeswax, and as well as hydrosols, if you're aware with what a hydrosol is. So we use that to help with all sorts of different intentions, whether it's anxiety, insomnia, different skin issues, hormonal imbalances. So I try to help each client from a very natural and organic as well as holistic standpoint. So I take all of their issues and I blend for them that way. So that's another way, I guess, that you can say I'm separate from a Young Living or a doTERRA. I don't have just one headache blend, for example.
Okay. You're going to meet with somebody, you're going to learn about them, you're going to learn about their issues, and then over a period of time in that discussion, you'll look at a blend that's right for them.
Yes, because everyone's different. Everyone's anxiety is different. Everyone's headache is different. So I do that. I gotta make sure my phone is off.
It's fine. Now, is this a blend that will be that you actually smell, or is it a roller, or is it something? Is it a cream? How does that work?
The Parasite
No,
or
just in
anybody?
general.
Again, it's different. So
Okay.
every client is different. Sometimes, in the case of a headache, for example, I usually will recommend an inhaler
Okay.
and a roller ball. That's a combination that works really well.
Okay.
If it's for insomnia, it depends. Does the client initially have trouble falling asleep, or do they fall asleep no problem and then they wake up and can't get back to sleep? So I look at different delivery methods based on what they need.
Okay.
It might be a salve, it might be a roller ball, it might be a lotion.
And so you do all of that, and you custom blend for anybody that has these types of ailments, and then you will create this solution for them. Correct? Okay, I love that. One thing I learned mostly from you, which has been really critical for me in my learning, because there's so much to learn about aromatherapy and essential oils, because there's some people that think, oh, essential oils are going to solve everything, or oh, superfoods are going to solve everything, or no, herbs are going to solve everything, right? And then some people just know if you just eat right, that'll solve everything. And it's not just one thing, it's a combination of things. But what you taught me the most, two things. One is be very careful who you're applying the essential oils to. So there's so many people applying essential oils and applying it on their skins, especially for kids under 7, right? You had said that's not a good idea.
Pretty much kids under 5, almost no one
Okay.
should be applying just an essential oil straight out of the bottle onto the skin.
Yeah.
There's very few reasons why you should do that. A bug bite, maybe, that won't kill you, but you rarely should just take an essential oil from a bottle and plop it right on your skin.
So many people do that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's wasteful, and then the thing you have to remember is there's chemical components in every single essential oil, and they're wonderful. It's what makes them do their job, but they have to be metabolized through our kidney, through our liver. We don't want to overload our body with something.
Yeah, and that's the main reason, right? So what happens when you have like even an essential oil that has a carrier oil in it, like a jojoba oil or something like that, and then you apply it, let's say it's for a child under 5, under their feet. What's your, or on the bottoms of their feet, what's your recommendation for that?
So under 5, I rarely recommend essential oils. Again,
just unless it's
I do
aromatherapy.
once in a while.
Okay.
So once in a while, there's a few instances. For example, I developed my own chest rub for cold and flu for children because the way I look at it is I do it in a very safe dilution ratio, less than a 1% dilution ratio. And I would rather a mom use my chest rub than go to the CVS and get Vicks.
100%.
There's ingredients in that are contraindicated for kids. My mom used it on me. I'd live to survive. It still isn't the best choice.
Right.
Or I'd rather them take care of it before, God forbid, they go and have to start a course of antibiotics or something.
Right.
So I do a chest rub. I do a hand sanitizer. Again, stuff happens. You're out of the playground and the kid picks up, cat poop or something.
Right.
So I do a hand sanitizer. Again, they blended at a very safe and low dilution ratio. So I take it on a case-by-case basis, but in general, I prefer hydrosols. So, and just
what is that exactly? Just in case we don't know.
Sure. So when you distill the plant material, when you're, creating your essential oil, the oil and water separate from the plants. So the oil is our essential oil. The water remaining is the hydrosol. So it has all the beautiful benefits of the essential oil, but it's very safe. So with hydrosols, you can use them on children, on the elderly. You can usually ingest them. There's a couple of exceptions, like peppermint hydrosol, for example. Even that should not be used on children under 3.
Wow. Such great information. So those were the two things that I learned from you. Never apply directly on your skin, and then the age of being under 5. I remembered 7, but you're right, it was 5. So important information. Now we're going to move along. And so a couple weeks ago, you and I were having a discussion, and you were talking about this Parasite Cleanse Kit that you developed. And you started developing it about a year and a half ago, and it went through different iterations. And what you have today is slightly different than what you started with. So I want to go through that.
Okay, so I started blending or creating it probably over 2 years ago, actually.
Okay, and look at the kit and start to see what's in it. But before we go into exactly what's in the kit and the protocol for the kit, I'd like to go through a little bit of if somebody is wondering if they have parasites, are there specific symptoms that we should be looking at to see that there's going to be a problem?
Yeah, there's so many varying symptoms. And just because you have this particular symptom or even a whole range of symptoms does not necessarily mean you do have parasites, but there are things that you can look for.
Okay.
And it's a huge range. A lot of asthmatics actually have parasites, which I just learned actually from my partner who helped me develop this.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that because, you know, there's pathogens and parasites, and I believe that one of those two are at the root cause of all of these types of problems.
Right.
Yeah.
So asthma, of course, there's a lot of things that a lot of people know, like the itchy rectal area. Mm-hmm. That's usually, or quite often, an indicator. Bloating, digestive issues, if you have dark circles, chronic and frequent migraines, different muscle tics, things like that, can all be related to parasites. And there's more. There's a really
brain fog is a big one.
Brain
right?
fog, yes, yeah, that's a big one.
Right. And so we want to remind you that just because you might be experiencing these types of symptoms does not mean it's parasites, okay? Because these symptoms are relatable. Like, I mean, that sounds like it could have been Hashimoto's, right? So, except for the itchy rectal part. I mean, it's right. So these symptoms are common throughout everything. So it's hard to pinpoint that this is exactly you have.
Exactly. Even an itchy rectum could be something else. It could be, you know, you're undiagnosed celiac, and that's why you're having itching. Or, you know, just because you have any of these, don't freak out and think you have some really 15-foot parasites or something.
Because we always hear the person, right, that, you know, oh, I know so-and-so that ate this, and then, you know, they released a 10-foot tapeworm, and you're like, ah! Yeah. So,
I don't want to be that person.
No, I don't either. Okay, so those are some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing with parasites. Now, you've developed this protocol, and I'm just curious, why did you build this?
You know, we were seeing a lot of clients. I work in a health and wellness center, and there were a lot of clients coming in there who had parasites.
Yeah.
I also was working at the time, we had a colon hydrotherapist in our office. She was seeing a lot of her clients with parasites, so it really got me thinking I should develop something to help with this.
Okay, love it. And I'm so glad you did, because I know this is going to help a lot of you, a lot of my customers. We've been talking about this for years, and I think this is something that is going to be really important when we start talking about just understanding your benchmarks, where you are in your health journey, and how these things can help. Okay, so I love the reason why you developed it, because it's something we need, and there just isn't a lot of this stuff out there and I love, number one, I know I'm jumping around, but I love that you have this specific protocol, and we're going to go through it. But that's the problem that I have with these other things, is you could just go online and buy something, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be safe.
Yeah, safety is a huge issue for me. So even with the capsules, which we'll get into in a little while, you know, I definitely researched a lot. So even knowing my research and having scientific evidence, I still blended below what was safe, just because safety isn't really big issue for me.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so this is the kit. I'll hold it up here so we're able to see it. And actually, let me just, I just want to make sure everybody can you give me a thumbs up or write in the comments that you're able to see the video and hear what we're saying, please? It would be great, because we're getting a message that is saying we're not visible right now. So if we can get some feedback, that would be great. And I'll write a message in here. Okay, and Kim, are you able to see us right now? Just to make sure, because we're about to get into the, or Bruna, if you're able to hear us, can you tell us if you're able to see us? Because we have a message coming up that you're not able to see us. So if you can respond back, that would be great. Can you just write down in the comments if you're able to see us, please?
I saw that message quite a while ago.
Yeah, no, I did too, but we had it last time and it was fine. There wasn't a problem, so I thought, oh, I'll just leave it. Anybody? Can we try? Oh, I can see you. Okay, and you can hear us? Kim, can you hear us? Just write a message, say yes, you can hear us, I hope. I can see and hear you.
Yay, okay.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so why we're getting this message, I have no idea. Okay, so we're back. This is what the kit looks like. This is what Sharon and her associate came up with, your partner, I guess, okay? And this is what's in here. So we're gonna go through and let's start talking about what's in the kit and the actual protocol.
Okay, so it's in this little box, so you can just easily take it, store it, keep it in your bathroom, your kitchen, whatever. The first thing when you get your kit is before you do leave my office, Pia store with the kit, I do need you to fill out some paperwork. It's not really extensive.
It's like an application.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's not for everyone. So
Correct.
I do want to make sure that if you are using the Parasite Cleanse, that it is safe for you. There's certain medical conditions, different variations where I might not suggest it or think it's right for you. So
so
there's a little intake form.
One. So you'll come to the store and you'll get this these sheets. Basically, you'll fill them out. You'll bring them back, and I'm going to give them to Sharon, and she's going to review the information. And once the information is reviewed, then we'll get back to you to see if this is the right protocol and process for them, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's not a product like most of Pia's wonderful things where you can just grab it off the shelf and go home.
Exactly, yeah. You need to, it's an application that you fill out to make sure that you're going to be the right candidate for doing something like this.
Right, exactly. And there are some age limitations too. If you're elderly, you know, maybe over 70, I want to take a good look at things. If you're under 17, I would not recommend it.
Okay. So 17 to 70, if you fit in that age group, should be okay to do this.
Yep. Okay. And if you're older, we can take a look at things. So the first thing is this little bag. This is Pal de Arco.
Yes, one of my favorite ingredients.
It's wonderful. So what you do with this is you brew a tea, and you'll sip it every day. Yeah. So there's
once
little
a day, twice a day,
all throughout the day.
Yeah.
So you're going to steep it, you know, about 30 ounces a day. So however you want to get that down, I say just sip a little through the day.
Yeah, 10 ounces 3 times a day would be perfect.
Yeah.
And the Pal de Arco actually tastes really good. I think it tastes a little bit vanilla-y, don't you?
It's not bad.
It tastes good. I mean, there's not a huge flavor to it.
No. So you're going to do that, start sipping.
Okay. That's day one.
Day one. And every day will be the same. Except for one.
How many total days did we mention?
So this is a 10-day cleanse.
So this is a 10-day cleanse. Okay?
Yes. If you start expelling a lot of parasites or even nests, which we have seen, I might ask you to take 7 to 10 days off and then repeat a course, just so we can make sure we have gotten rid of all of them and any larvae that might be remaining.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first step. It's all measured out for you.
This is after you're approved, after you filled out the application. Step 1, 30 ounces
right,
of
30
the Pal de
ounces
Arco.
a day, and it's not bad. The next thing is the capsules.
Yes, so, I love this part. This is where Sharon's genius has come in.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So there's just a little tin for you. So I hand prepare these right before your cleanse. I make sure everything is super fresh. I don't have a whole stock of these.
Right.
So I'll just grab one of the capsules. So these are filled. You can, where are we?
See here.
See.
Okay, so we're able to see that.
Okay, so these are filled with olive oil, which is going to work as a carrier because we don't want to just ingest straight essential oils. That's not recommended. And then there's 4 different anti-parasitic essential oils in each capsule.
Okay, which are?
So, I don't know that I want to share that.
Okay. No, I get it. No, I don't mind.
It took me forever to create this
that's
recipe.
part of your proprietary blend.
So it is.
Okay,
so,
perfect. Sorry. Yes,
so,
absolutely.
No problem.
I respect that 100%.
So just so you know, though, every oil was researched to the nth degree to make sure that I was coming up with the most effective oils. They're all used at a very safe ratio.
Okay, so there's 10 capsules in here for the 10 days each day of the protocol.
Yes.
Now, do they have to take it in the morning, in the afternoon? When's best to take it?
I suggest right after breakfast.
Okay.
You know, not on an empty stomach, but take it at the beginning of the day because you're going to maybe have more bowel movements and things like that. So you don't want to do it right before bed.
Okay. Will it make anybody have cramping, bloating? You know, are there symptoms of die-off? What, aside from the increased bowel movement, are they going to, like, if somebody works in the 10 days, can they do this?
Yeah, it hasn't been a problem for any of my clients yet. That's not to say it wouldn't be for someone because everyone does react different, have different sensitivities. So you may experience diarrhea or constipation.
Okay.
You may have headache. You may have like a heartburn, kind of burpy feeling.
Okay.
Some people do when they kind of taste it. You may be super tired. You may have a little joint or muscle pain, especially if you do have parasites.
Okay.
That's about all I've noticed at this
And
point.
is there a recommendation on what you should be eating while you're doing this? Like, is it a good idea to just do like bone broth while you're doing this?
That's great, but you don't have to totally change your diet. I would suggest staying away from sugar, staying away from a lot of dairy. So my partner, Joseph Montgomery of Brilliance Nutrition, he does have his PhD in integrative nutrition, and he is brilliant.
Yes,
so he created a little log here that you can fill out and record any kind of any symptoms, how you're feeling. If you're feeling great and energetic, or if you're tired, or if you're headachy. If anything is more than a mild headache or more than mild diarrhea, I ask that you contact me. Okay. If I don't hear from you about 3 days in, I'll usually give you a call just to make sure everything's going okay. If there's any, really severe adverse reactions, of course, I ask you to stop right away.
Right. But you haven't had anybody that has anything like that. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So we've got the Podiarco tea that you drink, 30 ounces that you drink throughout the day, and you've got 10 of the capsules with the proprietary blend that Sharon's come up with to take every day.
That's one a day. And then we have a castor oil pack.
Okay.
So this is castor oil, again, with some essential oils that I've created to help with the detox process. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply that to your abdominal area, kind of over your liver, that general area, and then cover it with one of these wool flannels. Do you want me to take this out so that I can see?
How much of this should they, because this is enough supply for the 10 days?
It is. That's more than enough for 10 days.
Okay, so how much of this would you recommend? Like a capful, a tablespoon?
I'd say about a tablespoon or two.
Okay, and that would, a tablespoon would
you're not
lubricate this whole thing?
You don't need to lubricate the whole thing.
Okay.
But, and most clients kind of know where they want to put it. So say you're putting it over your liver. I know I'm reaching down here, nobody can see. But so you'll put it on, cover this, and you can get it pretty soaked.
Okay.
And then just put it over the area. If you want to put some saran wrap around it, that's fine. If you just want to lie, you can put a heating pad over it.
Should it be all day that you have it?
No,
or just
not
like
all
an
day.
hour after
For maybe
dinner?
30 minutes or so.
Oh, 30 minutes.
Fine.
Okay. That sounds great. And then what do? You wash this and then you do it again the next day?
Wash it, do it again.
Okay.
You don't have to wash it every day. And again, Joseph has a little, so on here we were doing smaller squares, but that was becoming not convenient. So here he says soak it in a quarter cup. You can go a little less, but quarter cup's okay.
Okay. Now, what if they just did the Podiarco tea and the capsules, and then it's like, oh no, I forgot day 3, I didn't do the castor oil pack. What happens?
Okay, no big deal. And before I realized I just misspoke. You don't want to put a heating pad over it. Okay. I meant a hot water bottle. So I did. I misspoke there. Not a heating pad. The electrical frequencies possibly could interfere there. So I just wanted to clarify that. So if you forget a day, big deal. It's not like, oh, no, I've blown the whole thing, and because I know that's what I would think. So now I messed up the whole thing.
Right, I'm going to start all over, and it's not going to work properly.
Yeah, if you forget a day, don't panic.
Okay, so out of the 10 days, what if somebody, how many, total days can you forget to do the castor oil?
Well, I don't want to give anyone permission to forget, so I don't want to, try to do it every day. If you forget one day, don't worry. If you forget 2 days, don't freak out. The other thing I wanted to mention was the reason for the tea. So we talked about the Podiarco. I better backtrack to that as well. So the reason for this is it helps to paralyze the parasites. Okay. So they cannot latch on to the walls and the lining. When they're not latched on, it's a lot easier to flush them out. So that's the purpose of the tea.
Okay. And so what if you just drink the tea and you don't do this? Like just, you know, because this is so anti-yeast, antifungal, antibacterial. It has a lot of anti-pathogen components to it. What if you just drink the tea every day? And people think, oh, this is a way for me to get rid of parasites.
Yeah, I don't think that will work for parasites.
Right.
You just, went over a lot of really good benefits of the tea.
Yeah.
The parasites won't be clinging on,
separate, right?
But it won't, I don't believe it will flush them out.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't kill them.
So this is the magic that basically then goes through and says, okay, the Padiarco made you like stiffen, you can't go anywhere. Then these pills
kill you and flush you out. Yeah, so if you're going to forget something, don't forget this.
Correct.
I'd say this is the main thing, don't forget.
Right.
Make sure you do that all 10 days.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now we understand the 3 components that you have to do every day for the 10 days. And we understand that we could feel a little bit of bloating or extra type of bowel movement. Now, at one point you were talking about you should also do some hydrocooling therapy along with this. Is this during the cleanse or after?
So I recommend during the cleanse.
Okay.
Maybe about 7 days in or so. That really helps get in there and flush it out. And that's when clients have really been seeing the huge parasites. They've been expelling nests.
Okay.
So that kind of gives it an extra flush to get it out there. So again, it's not necessary, but I do recommend it.
Okay. And what if they don't do that?
If you don't do
you can have a recurrence, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessary. I like to have my clients do it because, for one thing, you will see, you may see pieces or whole parasites in your bowel movement, but you may not. When you do the flush, the colon hydrotherapist is going to see it right there. And she's going to say,
she can show it to you.
Yes, here's 2 nests that you just expelled. And then what that tells me is then we might need to take the 7-10 days off and redo it again.
Try again. Now, what if somebody's of the opinion that, I'll just do the hydrocolon therapy and that should be enough to expel any type of parasites that I might have, I'll just go and do that.
Yeah, it does expel, but it generally doesn't kill all of them in there and not the larvae either.
Okay. So that's again what the magic is in your pills, because that's what you're going to do, right? That's what this is all about. Yeah. Okay. So that's fantastic. So we understand these components. Now, there was going to be another question I was going to ask here, but I've just forgotten here with this component. But let's talk about some results. So based on who's taken it so far and what they've done, what's some of the things that we can tell people you could expect?
Okay, so people are expelling pieces of parasites, whole parasites, nests, which I know is really gross, but
I said it wasn't going to be pleasant at the beginning of the conversation.
Yes, so it's better to get them out than have them in here.
Yes.
I recently had one client who never saw any signs of parasites.
Okay.
But what she did notice after the cleanse, and she was still glad she did it, although I don't recommend it for this reason, but she noticed a huge improvement in her bowel movements, like better than years.
Right.
So it's, even though she didn't see any, she may have
that was the improvement that she got. Yeah.
Right.
This is what I was going to ask you. So let's talk about the whole sushi thing.
Okay. Yeah, there are foods that. Yeah, the sushi thing, if you eat sushi, you're going to get parasites.
Yeah. Like so if you're going to do this, and then your celebration after your 10 days is to go for a sushi dinner, probably not a best choice, right?
Right. But there are parasites in things that we all eat every day. If you eat lettuce and cabbage and pork, there's parasites. Right. And no matter how much you wash that lettuce or the cabbage.
It's a risk. All the food, it's a risk management, right? Yeah. You're just managing the risk, and that's true for everything. But, I mean, part of doing things like this, and if you've been in the store, you've heard my opinion on this, that I'm a proponent of cleanses and detoxes, but it depends when you do the cleanse and the detox, right? So if somebody is still at the industrial food level, kind of bottom line, still eating and drinking a lot of the industrial ingredients, that's probably like, and then jump into this, and then you go back to what you were doing, this is just going to be perpetual, right? You're just going to have to do this again in like 18 months, right?
And that's the other thing. So 2 points. If you are that type of eater, you may need to start with the bowel and liver cleanse first.
Right.
You may need to start slow and then, maybe give it 6 weeks, 2-3 months, and then do this after you make some changes. And then the other thing is, once you get rid of the parasites, it's not a cure-all for everything, because some people do think, oh, I'll get rid of my parasites and life will be wonderful and I won't have this ache and pain or whatever. So it's not a cure-all for everything. Hopefully it will alleviate a lot of symptoms, but
it's a good benchmark again to know, like that it's just like a checklist for on your journey that is clean eating. You have a checklist, right? You have your blood work done. You continue to make better choices and be mindful and intentional about the choices that you're making when it comes to food and drink, and you keep improving. That's the journey that is clean eating, right? And then you look at different modalities. Chiropractic is a modality, massage is a modality. All of these different things fit into that lifestyle that is clean eating. So when we get to something like this, which I'm excited about, because I've been on my journey for 6 years and I've been 3 years no industrial food. So I feel like my body would benefit from something like this, because when I celebrate, I will not be celebrating with the sushi dinner.
Right, or a liter of Coke, right?
Yeah. I go back to my, all pasture level meat and all local organic fruits and vegetables and those things that really make up what clean eating is about. So yeah, that was what I wanted to cover, which was the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing I forgot to mention too, another part along with the hydrocolon therapy that can be really beneficial is an infrared sauna.
Oh yeah.
So I do have one in my
100%.
office. If you are my client, you can use it for no charge. So that's a great form of detox.
Oh, what a great!
So
that's a great benefit from this, right?
Yeah.
So if you buy the kit, oh my God, I love that. That's a selling point right there.
Yeah.
How many sessions will they get?
You can have about 10 sessions in there,
that's
and that's usually a huge expense if you've ever seen infrared sauna. So
100%.
That's a good benefit.
So you get the kit, and then you're able to. Should you be doing the sauna while during the 10 days of this too?
Yeah, it's really beneficial.
Okay. Oh my God, Sharon, that's a huge point. I love that.
Yeah, I almost forgot it.
Yes,
I know,
that's great. I know. I get so excited. Okay, so if you guys have any questions for us, you can drop them in the comments, because we're going to close up here in a few more minutes. So any questions that you have, we can answer them live. If you think of something later, drop them here, because we'll be able to have access to it and then answer the questions at that time too.
Yeah, Pia can forward anything on to me, or did you want me to give my forward?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so if you need to email me, it's Sharon, SHARON, at rockroseapothecary.com.
And we'll put it in the comments too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, you can ask a question.
You're also tagged in here too.
Okay,
so they can contact you directly.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Okay, so in the store, if you're around and you're interested in doing something like this, come on in and you get first the application, which I will give to you, and then this application, once you fill it out, I will give it to Sharon. She'll make contact with you, and then at that point, if there's a connection, then you'll be able to go through and start with the kit.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sharon, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Pia.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun on an icky topic.
Yeah, made it as fun as possible, right? Anyway, thanks again, folks. Come and visit me in the store or read my blogs at IamACleanEater.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.